Well, let's cross live to our correspondent in Jerusalem, Noga Tarnopolsky. Noga, a deal between the United States and Hamas, a hostage being released, but Israel doesn't sound too pleased about it. What's the latest from there?
Israel had absolutely nothing to do with it, and in fact wasn't informed that these negotiations were taking place. So if we take a step back, the Edan Alexander is an Israeli army soldier. He was taken captive while fighting the Hamas invasion of Israel on October 7th. And by all normative standards, the state of Israel should have been negotiating for his release and that of other soldiers and the remaining civilians there. Israel wasn't even informed in this case, and Israel is behaving in a pretty recalcitrant way. Prime Minister Netanyahu just issued his second statement about this situation, which clearly was imposed on him, in which he says that it was his policies of massive military pressure on Hamas that made possible the liberation of Edan Alexander. But then he adds that, as you said, that even his liberation, the liberation of this soldier taken hostage, will not bring about even a temporary truce or ceasefire, that Israel will merely enable a safe corridor for his release, which is expected now very quickly in a few hours, while Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to the region, is expected to be in Israel, and to make sure everybody knows that the United States was able to get this hostage out, even as the Prime Minister of Israel, who is responsible for all the hostages, continues to say he cannot get the hostages out.
Where does this leave things, Noga? I mean, you know, the US up to now seemed very much on the side of Benjamin Netanyahu in this conflict. If it's starting to move away, where does this leave Netanyahu? It currently looks like he's going to stop at nothing but his plan to annihilate much of Gaza.
Right. Well, it does seem in recent weeks more and more that the American and the Israeli point of view have diverged. The United States wants an end to this war, and the statement put out by the president last night says that he's very happy about the release of Edan Alexander, U.S. citizen. The president didn't mention Israel in the entire statement, didn't mention Netanyahu, thanked instead Qatar and Egypt. And this leaves Israel in a situation in which it appears very likely that it is simply going to have to accept American decisions regarding the future of its own citizens and of its own policies. You know, the people of Israel, more than 70%, the vast majority of Israelis want this war to end and are protesting for that every single day. I would not be surprised if later today we'll see Steve Witkoff taking something of a victory tour around Tel Aviv's Hostages Square and make sure that all of the cameras show that he's there as this young man who apparently was held and tortured by Hamas in Gaza, as this young man is released, and make sure that Israelis realize that this can be done. So Netanyahu appears to be left in a bit of a political corner by the Americans, whereas on his other side, he did promise his very right-wing base, his right-wing ministers mostly, that he is on the verge to reinvade and retake Gaza the minute Donald Trump leaves the region. So that is the unknown area that we're traversing right now.
Noga Tarnopolsky, putting it all in context for us. Thank you very much indeed, our correspondent.